Jaymey Mclvor is with me, Reform UK councillor on Epping Forest District Council. Jaymey, great to have you with us this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is a blow for Epping Forest.
Well, this is a blow for the mums of Epping, the parents of Epping, who have been peacefully protesting week in, week out, which forced the council to take action. We saw that in the remarks today. So peaceful protest does make your council respond, because we were told early in the year the council done everything possible to get the hotel closed. And then, of course, it turned out there was this option, which had a week ago appeared to be successful. So absolutely right that those mums did that peacefully with parents and their own children attending. I'm gutted for them. I'm gutted for them because they've been called all sorts by the media. They've been called far right. Even their own local councillor in Epping has name-called them. And what you have now seen is a huge disappointment for those people. But it's genuine concerned parents who I'm feeling for this evening, whose children go back to school next week, who are genuinely concerned for the safety of their children who have to walk past
What are their concerns?
They are concerned because the people that live in that hotel, the unvetted men that live in that hotel, hide in the bushes, wait on benches where the children go after school. And there are numerous, and I've heard this directly from the students of this school, numerous encounters of inappropriate behaviour from the unvetted men that live in that hotel. That hotel is around the corner from a school. Now, we can debate all day the national debate, and I'm quite furious that the government has used the ECHR against its own people today. What a sorry state of affairs. That hotel, the protest here is the fact it is around the corner from a school, and at every protest we walk from the hotel to the school to prove how quickly you can do it. And just yesterday we did it, but this time not in the road, we did it round the back, because that's the route that the people that live there, the illegal migrants, that's the route that they use.
Seekers, yeah.
They are not asylum seekers.
They are seeking asylum, so therefore they are asylum seekers.
An asylum seeker is somebody that goes from a dangerous country to a safe country. The countries that border Britain are not.
Come on.
They overnight in France, which is a safe country. I'm not having.
Are they seeking asylum?
This is part of the
country?
problem.
Hold on. Are they seeking asylum?
They are entering the country illegally.
And what do they do when they come
Economic
here?
migrants.
What do they do? 2/3 of the people that come on boats are found to have valid claims for asylum, so that's important to say as well. All I'm saying is somebody
They're
who
not valid. I'm sorry.
I mean, the Home Office decides they're valid. You can say
I
they're
don't
not.
trust the Home Office
that's fine.
at all.
But according to the official process and the official tribunals and the rulings, 2/3 of people who come here on small boats are found to be valid refugees.
But in the real world, they've gone from a dangerous country to a safe country, and then another safe country, and overnighting in safe countries and coming to Britain as economic migrants, because they're safe. They're in a place of safety when they leave the dangerous country into a safe one.
Just got to be clear. If you come here and you claim asylum, I think it's very valid to describe you as an asylum seeker.
Not if you've entered the country illegally on a small boat. You're an illegal migrant.
International law doesn't specify that you can't claim asylum.
We could debate this all day, but they are, in my view, they are, and the view of most of the British people, they are illegal migrants. They are not asylum seekers. And this is a sad thing, because there are people that genuinely do claim asylum and they come to Britain for a reason. Genuine asylum seekers, and I'm afraid I do not buy the argument that those unvetted men in those hotels that have entered the country illegally are
the reason
those
they're
people.
unvetted is obviously because we're taking so long to vet their applications.
They're
That's why they're
unvetted because we don't know who they are. They throw their documentation in the channel.
No, they come here and they apply, and then we take 2 years to process their applications. That's why they're unvetted.
Irrelevant of how long it could take 2 weeks.
It's not, because
we don't know who they are, because they make it up on the spot in many cases.
If it was processed in 2 weeks, they wouldn't be unvetted, would they? They would have been vetted quickly.
How can you vet somebody when you don't know who they are?
Because they have to provide all sorts of evidence and documentation.
But they don't, because they throw it in the channel.
And the ones that throw it in the channel, if they can't prove who they are, won't have an asylum claim upheld.
And who do we think these people are when they do that?
What do you mean?
Well, when people come to this country illegally, say on a small boat, and they throw their documents in the channel.
As some of them do.
As many of them do.
Some of them do, yes.
And when they arrive to this country and we then have to so-called vet them, are they vetted before they go to a hotel?
But that's my point. No, because it's taking so long to process their claims.
Yes, and they are unvetted men in our community.
Yes, yeah, of course they are. All I'm saying is, we're not, because I'm saying the only reason they are unvetted, you're sort of making out it's their fault they're unvetted. I'm saying the reason they're unvetted.
In the water.
Hold on, the reason they're unvetted is because the government takes so long to vet them. That's why they're unvetted.
Then would you trust the government's vetting process?
Yes, generally. I don't see any reason not to.
How are we supposed to know if these people have got criminal convictions in their countries, if they're fleeing countries that don't even have democracy, don't even have rule of law,
because
run by
security
terrorists?
checks are carried out on people who are granted asylum status here.
But I'm sorry, I mean, this is a separate debate, but I don't think for a split. I don't. Well, okay, I'm very happy to have that conversation. If they're leaving a country such as, for example, Afghanistan, are we suggesting that the government records of that country are in any way going to be accurate? Are we really saying that?
Well, then what's your argument? That we shouldn't take anybody from an impoverished country?
They need to be arrested because they're entering the country illegally, detained and deported, which is why...
All of them?
Every single person that enters this country illegally. I believe if you enter this country illegally... the argument of women and children is a very, very difficult one, and it's very obvious why. Very obvious why. I do believe that it is reckless for a government to say that if you put your child on a boat to come across the channel and you put your child in danger like that from a safe country, France, let's be real about that, I think it's reckless to encourage that behaviour. So I think...
you would deport women and children back to places like Afghanistan.
I think the deterrent has to be there. It can't be off the table, in my view.
So if they go back to Afghanistan, are they going to be stoned, or are they going to be publicly whipped, or are they going to be killed?
Well, this is the point.
You send them back regardless.
This is the point. They should stay in France or other parts of Europe.
But if they do come to Britain, you would want to see them sent back to Afghanistan regardless.
There has to be a deterrent.
So that's a yes?
There has to be a deterrent.
Is that a yes?
There has to be a deterrent.
Jaymey, you're supposed to be the straight-talking party. Is that a yes or a no?
I am.
Is that a yes or a no?
Our policy, Reform UK's policy was outlined this week.
You would send women and girls potentially back to their deaths in countries like Afghanistan. Yes or no?
The party hasn't said that.
Yes. What do you say? Yes or no?
My personal view is there has to be a deterrent, and it doesn't mean to say it doesn't.
Yes?
Listen, it doesn't have to be that they get sent back to Afghanistan. And I think this is the point. When the media create hysteria on this topic,
so where do you send them?
They have to go to a safe country, and that might well be. By the way, there is a thing called legitimate asylum, which I don't believe is when you enter a safe country from another safe country. So there are legitimate cases of asylum that we should consider.
We're slightly running out of time. I just want to ask you about Nigel Farage's suggestion this afternoon, your party leader. Illegal migrants have more rights than the British people under Starmer. What does that mean?
Well, I think it means exactly that. The government were more concerned about the welfare of asylum seekers than they were about the safety and well-being of women and girls in Epping, and that is a disgrace. And that just sums up this government and why they need to be out of office as soon as possible.
What rights do asylum seekers have in Britain that British people don't?
You have to look at exactly what Nigel said, and what he is referring to is the fact that the Home Secretary
migrants have more rights than the British people. So
I believe
what rights do they have that you and I don't as British people?
Because the government has put their safety above.
But that's not what he says. He says they have more rights here than we do. So what rights do they have?
Women and girls in Epping have the right to freedom of movement, but their freedom of movement is restricted because they are scared to walk past that hotel. The illegal migrants in that hotel are not.
Therefore, they have more rights than British people here.
I believe that is absolutely right. And this is how. And also, let's just be... well, we know there's many of them are working.
They can't really use the NHS. They don't have access to much
Excuse me, they have doctors come to the hotel for them.
They don't have access to the NHS like you and I do.
Well, who are those doctors then? They're NHS doctors. That's wrong.
They don't have access... All I'm saying is...
The NHS comes to them. They have a better service.
They don't have the same sort of access that you and I do to the NHS. You'd agree on that? They don't. They can't go and make...
They have a better service.
They can't go and make
they have a better
appointment with a doctor in the way that you and I could do.
No, because the doctor comes to them, weekly checkups. That's what they get.
And you think they have... That regular medical checkups are better than...
Do you know how many people have misdiagnosis?
Better than the access to the entire NHS.
How many British people have misdiagnosis in this country? You can't get a doctor's appointment in this country.
The idea that anyone coming here has more rights than you and I is completely and utterly false.
And it's absolutely right for Nigel to point it out. And we need to stop avoiding the truth. The truth is why, the avoidance of the truth is why this country is in such a mess.
The truth is that you and I, with British people, presumably with a British passport, Jaymey, I can't speak for you, I have a British passport. Does the doctor come to you weekly? We have far, far more rights than anybody coming here to claim asylum.
You're a young man, I'm a young man, yes. I believe. Does a doctor come to you weekly for a health check?
I have access to the entirety of the NHS.
As do I.
Those
but does a doctor come to you weekly?
I have the right to work. I have the right to claim benefits if I lose my job. We have all sorts of rights that none of those people have.
But they do have those rights. So I say once more,
Nigel Farage's claim that anybody coming here on a small boat has more rights than you or I is just false.
Nigel Farage is correct, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm a local councillor. I had the anecdotal experience of my residents who can't get a doctor's appointment, yet people in those hotels do. That is wrong, and it is double standards, and it has to be called out, and Nigel is right to call it out.